The LA Gladiators win our first match of the night over the Florida Mayhem, 2-1. And with that win, the Gladiators put themselves in good position to make it into the Stage 2 playoffs. Up next, we have the London Spitfire going up against the San Francisco Shock. There it is. Now the Shock, they got some new players coming onto the team, so they're simply looking to find their footing as they add these new guns to the roster. And the London Spitfire, they're already in playoff contention. They're looking to stay in playoff contention, so every map matters. Will they be able to get the map wins that they need to make it back to the stage finals? Let's find out right now.
We're back and better than ever. Make some noise, LA. The party continues right now. We got 2 more matches for you. Same old desk. It's Puckett. We got the crew. Sideshow alongside Crumbs and Sully once again. We just saw LA get a big win. Will their second team, the Valiant, be able to pick up a second one? We're about to find out.
Yeah, and of course the San Francisco Shock here as well. They're repping California, so we could have a triple California day.
I like it. Let's take a look at our standings here. The Gladiators in Stage 2 keep themselves in the running with that big victory over the Florida Mayhem. Looking at our other squads, though, the London Spitfire are right behind the Gladiators, and we're going to have to see how far can the Shock climb on this list. They're currently in 9th. A win today would be massive, and as you look at the schedule later, we're going to get to the Valiant versus the Uprising, but we got the Spitfire going up against the Shock. Guys, let's jump right into this, starting with our London squad. They're the Stage 1 champions. They're higher on the leaderboard. Everyone says they're the favorites coming into today, but the squad hasn't had the easiest road. Last week they slipped up, and they're going to have to basically play perfectly moving forward if they want to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, they need to take themselves very seriously here because the loss to the Gladiators might be pretty big, and we've already seen the San Francisco Shock play spoilers on Stage 1, taking a map off of Seoul, stopped Seoul from making playoffs. So another map loss here with that map differential and how tight the race is between the Gladiators trying to sneak into the playoffs. London cannot afford to drop unnecessary maps.
And with Seoul Dynasty coming up later this week, you've got to assume the attention has been taken slightly away from San Francisco Shock. This could be a bit of a trap game here for London.
This is going to be a tough match for the Shock, but we know they've been preparing. How are they feeling matching up against London for their second time?
Well, when I talked to the Shock today, I actually talked about the preparation for this very team, and their coach Brad told me that he thinks the Kongdu roster is a lot scarier. There is a lot more depth, and considering how much is on the line at the moment for London, they probably are not going to field their GC Busan lineup, or at least he's expecting to see Bertring over Hurek, as those are 2 of the players he specifically named.
Well, last time they did the same thing, but the Gladiators forced the A squad to come in, and it still was not enough. So they need to be ready to bring out the A game if San Francisco get it out of them.
San Francisco, they've been running a very similar lineup. We've been seeing the same guys over and over again. Well, today we know they're bringing in a new face. They tweeted that Moth is going to be in the lineup. Who is this guy, and how does that affect what they're going to be bringing to the table in today's matchup?
Well, Moth is a support player who's actually fairly unknown to this level of competition, so I haven't seen too many of his games. He's kind of hung around at a lower up-and-coming level, but they are planning to make big changes to their roster moving forwards. This could just be the first of many changes as we look towards the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, the team is finally activating. You've got Sinatra being able to play next week, and what does this mean for everybody on the team? Are they playing for their spot? Does this mean that now Dante is going to have an amazing performance because he feels like he might have his spot taken over by Sinatra? There's a lot of things that are happening with this team that could push everybody to play in a Super Saiyan way.
We'll see how the Shock is going to handle their business today. Are you guys ready to start this party? Make some noise, LA, as we kick it off right now. It's London versus the San Francisco Shock.
That is a very swift first point for the London Spitfire.
That's a crucial team fight win for San Francisco Shock. Here we go! Baby Bay's in the thick of it though. Oh, it's carnage! Going to get caught by Hurricane.
Profit in the back line.
Oh, it's all happening so fast! Ah! It's all over the screen! What?
Please make some noise and welcome to the stage. It's the London Spitfire. Stage 1 champions, currently coming in at the 4th seed here in Stage 2. They have a 4-2 record as they mount the stage.
What are they germaphobes? No, he's handing them out.
They're their own best cheerleaders, but you know what I'm seeing in this squad? I do see Hurek being played, I do see Huyal back in it as well, and that means that they're not fielding what the San Francisco Shock were actually expecting of them. Let's see if they can get away with it.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting because London, typically, when they have a big game in the week like Seoul upcoming, they will try and save strategies against what they consider to be a team lower in the standings. But it's bitten them before. London can't afford to give this kind of lack of respect to the Shock, or is this strategic? Do they think that Wuhyal and Hurek are actually better for these maps? I'm not sure.
I mean, when you have Bird Ring in the lineup that is ready to go, I imagine that he's a little better than the rest of the squad. So I get the feeling that this is just a matter of saving the strategies and going all the way with that one, because when you have Seoul up next, and Seoul's already shown what they did against New York, things get a little more complicated.
That really opens a window, though, for San Francisco Shock to take control of this game. As I said, London have done this before, and they got punished for it.
That is a look at the starting 6 for at least game number 1 from the Spitfire. Let's find out who is playing on the other side of the stage as we welcome the San Francisco Shock. Currently 9th in the standings at 2 and 4, but all smiles today. Sleepy, followed by the new face, Moth, as they welcome themselves to the stage. The fans on their feet. They want to see a big upset.
Yeah, so there are some new kids on the Shock. On Tuesday this week, the San Francisco Shock officially announced their 2 new additions. Moth, the support player, we're seeing in Duck's stead. And, of course, there's also Architect, a Flex DPS, who's mainly playing Genji, I believe, who we might see soon also.
I can't wait.
I'm very curious to see what the hell Moth is going to bring to the squad, because we've seen players that come in with not a lot of practice, do not a whole lot for the team in the case of the Mayhem, but teams that do the exact same opposite, like Fissure, that gets added into one of these critical roles, tanker support, and just changes everything. So Shock could be in here for a real treat.
And speaking of changing everything, Lucio, your DAC is out of the mix, a guy who's normally doing a lot of shot calling. Who takes on that role?
Well, who knows? Maybe it's all on Baby Bay and Nomi in the front line. Maybe Moth is going to be their caller. It's really interesting because most of the teams, as we've gone through this meta, have taken the calling away from the back line. So this could change the whole team dynamic from the Shock. We might see them be more aggressive if they put the hands of the calling into Nomi and say Dante. We could be up for a whole different Shock.
You already mentioned Sinatra's coming back next week. They're going to put in Mr. 150K today. It's time for Dante to shine. Win your spot, buddy, as they face off against Prophet and the Spitfire. It's time to get this one going as we send it backstage to Monty and Doa.
Hey, what's up? Thank you, Puckett, Doa, and Monte Cristo here. I'm ready to be on camera more than anything, but mostly I'm ready for the London Spitfire versus San Francisco Shock. I'm really excited about this one today because we have a new player on the San Francisco side, all the way from the folklore of West Virginia, the Mothman cometh. And we will see if the prophecies are true.
We'll see how many people get that actual reference.
Hey, you know?
You know, coming into this one, I think it's really interesting that they're starting to play some of their new players, breaking them into some on-stage experience for the first time ever. And we are going to see, as the desk touched on in the next few weeks, a very different, likely significantly more powerful San Francisco Shock lineup with Sinatra, Super, Architect, all entering the fray alongside Moth. So. Yeah. Some early experience here for their first eligible player that they've added to this roster. I'm very interested to see how he's going to perform. Of course, it's a lot different playing on a giant stage like this than it is in scrims or in online matches.
Yeah, very true. And guess what? Your first opponent gets to be London Spitfire, one of the strongest teams in Overwatch League. And it's an interesting roster combination coming out from the London side this time, isn't it?
I think this is better. The whole GC Busan roster has been underperforming. And when we saw them play against the LA Gladiators, as the desk touched on, that did force them to bring in the A-team, as it were, halfway through the match, but also put the burden on that A-team to reverse sweep. So this is splitting the difference a bit by having Bedosian and Nuss, which I think are, for the moment, the better support duo on the Spitfire.
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, if you watch that last match, especially, I was keeping an eye on Closer, and he had some trouble kind of focusing in some of those fights.
As you can see, this is actually the first time this season San Francisco have made any changes to their rosters. They did have a limited ability to do that previously because some of their roster players were, of course, underage. But as we move forward, San Francisco is a team that had a very clear strategy coming into Owl, and that was to build young and build for the future.
Hey, well, another opportunity for that as we begin. London Spitfire on the attack here. San Francisco Shock setting up that typical Sombra defense. Dante can be playing that hero as he has been quite a bit lately.
Yeah, basically San Francisco runs Tracer or Sombra on Dante and then a long-range hit scan on Baby Bay. They sometimes deviate by running Baby on the Roadhog or Dante on the Genji, but they're pretty cut and dried in the kind of strategies that they've been running. And
true.
It's like London wants to play the Tracer or the Widowmaker into them. They will not be forcing their way into the room. They're going to be playing around the picks from the Widowmaker and Gesture.
Right. Dante finds a kill on the Gesture. Combined with that one, here is London getting a little bit bottled up in this room now. San Francisco not giving him a lot of opportunities. Rez comes in on the Winston for the London side, so they will be able to keep this attack going a bit.
Rick needs to start hitting some of these shots, but San Francisco staying out of the sight lines, only giving a little bit of pressure with the tanks right there. Otherwise, with the support.
Oh, that's it.
There you go.
Well, welcome to the Overwatch League, buddy. Hureg is a pretty good Widowmaker. He does get hacked, though. Gets taken down. Dante popped that EMP, and now San Francisco strikes back. Couple kills for Baby Bay, and they knew after they lost Moth, they had to win a fight in a hurry or get overwhelmed, and they did that perfectly.
When you play the Widowmaker and the Tracer on the attack, you have to pick people off. Otherwise, you give too much time for the Sombra to charge the EMP, and that's what we see there. Nuss will get the Resurrection off, so they're trying to play with the closer spawns. Moth and Sleepy on their way back to the point. Nice sleep
Gesture
dart.
right away tries to zone them out. They get Baby Bay in the process here. Prophet low health finally gets a few more HP to rejoin the fight. Haven't gotten a tick yet, though, on the London side. Ureg over on the McCree now, swapping off of that Widowmaker, going for it with the anti-Sombra capability. Sleepy taken down by Prophet, so now London starting to pick apart San Francisco a little bit here.
Yeah, they are, and London still has to deal with the players on the point. However, Dante coming back with another EMP, and there it is.
One. Yeah, but crucially, he didn't get the Zenyatta. Bidosin able to use that Transcendence, but I guess it wasn't enough to keep the team on the point, so that's going to be actually a support ultimate they'd like back.
Yeah, Bidosin used the Transcendence to react before it could go down. Nevix going to gobble up that Pulse Bomb. Still the D-Mech goes through, so now it's a chance for London to coalesce here on the side of the point and try and take it back while Nevix is still in the mini diva form.
Impossible, they cannot coalesce without the Moira. Oh, they can get Nevix though. Prophet finding another kill there. And now it's going to be the numbers advantage in favor of London Spitfire. Sleepy getting very low. Ooh, nearly takes down Prophet. That was a couple orbs close to the head, and Prophet backs away. Vidoshin does go down, though. Baby Bay finding his win in the Tracer v Zenyatta on the other side. Meanwhile, Gesture pulse bombed out of existence, and Ureg trying to zone people out a bit. With this Deadeye, they have gotten nearly 2 ticks here on the point. It looks like they will nearly get 2 ticks. Not quite. Now they get it. But Hureg down. I don't think San Francisco has the ability to contest this, though.
No, they don't. Only Nomi and Moth left. They're going to delay it as long as they can, but that's not going to be enough. So with 35 seconds remaining, London does push through. Changes their tactics to the McCree. They start trying to poke with the Widowmaker, realize it's not working for them. They're not hitting the shots. Go for the McCree and try and invade the room with the Mega Health Pack instead. Change of tactic eventually works in their favor. Hureg now on the Soldier 76.
That's a pretty good hold for San Francisco, though. I mean, on the back of Dante and his EMPs for the most part, this guy has been playing better and better. London Spitfire coming into point B now. Bidoshin with that Transcendence loaded up, ready to go. Dante, though, with another EMP. Some of the mind games between the Sombra and the Zenyatta here.
They also see Baby Bay on the Roadhog, so they're playing for picks right now. Hack goes down.
All right, Transcendence comes in. Bidoshin not able to keep a lot of members of his team alive, though. Again, that's the second Transcendence in a row where just hasn't really gotten a lot of benefit from it.
Oh, and because the London Spitfire lost 2 members before the Zenyatta could reach the backline, Dante on Volskaya has been great this stage when it comes to getting the sneaky EMPs off on the backline. Not only does he pick off 2 members, he forces the Transcendence out, and Spitfire gonna have a lot of trouble. Hureg goes back to the McCree. He should have known. Usually San Francisco sticks with the Sombra for their defense on point B. There was no real need to swap to the Tracer, or the Soldier rather.
Yeah.
And now he goes right back onto the field. Nice sleep dart.
What a sleep dart from Moth. Misses a grenade, though. That's going to be a bit of a problem. Pulse Bomb, luckily, though, not doing too much to San Francisco. They're going to back away. They're going to give the nano boost to Nomi. A little bit zoned out. Going to have to pop that Primal Rage as he tries to force back the members of London Spitfire here. And they need to go back for his own healing. Now the EMP comes in. They've got the sound barrier as well. Dante falling right after he uses that Sombra ultimate. But it looks like San Francisco grinding this fight out in their favor. And they've got the closer spawns, too.
Hureg actually got rezzed at the end, so they're going to try and push forward with this Transcendence. The Valkyrie is ended. That Trance is not going to be doing anything.
Yeah, one more time where Bedoshin's Trance, again, not helping London really much at all.
They still have 6 people, though, thanks to the res, so maybe they can push this forward before Baby Bay comes back. He's going to switch on to Tracer to get to the point faster.
Yeah, Sleepy zoned out. Hurek nearly fighting him off there. Nice flashbang onto Dante. Sets up the kill, but Wujal right there to finish off Nomi as well. Prophet fighting for his life. They've nearly got that D-Mech onto Nevix. He did get back to the health pack in the small room, so he's okay for the moment anyway.
And Nevix still fighting over that health pack. It is not hacked right now, so
Come back slower.
Yeah, it's going to come back a lot slower
Yeah.
than it would be otherwise. That means he does have to fall back out of that room. Dante, come back in, and
I gotta say, again, San Francisco putting together a pretty solid hold here on point B. Down to a minute 40 left.
Here we go.
That's right. Winston Shield, he just goes for the hack on the Gesture instead.
Got the
Wujal
hack.
so low already. They can save this EMP.
They can. Going back to the mini instead, so
Not bad.
Baby Bay is down. We'll see if that is the trigger for London to really push for this point again. They tried to use that Valkyrie.
But he got London going 2 different ways now. Half the people on the left side, half the people had to back away. They're going to use a Primal Rage onto Gesture to try to scatter San Francisco a bit, but the big EMP comes in. Prophet and Nuss can't survive it, and San Francisco winning a big one. Nice hack onto Wujal. Baby Bay with a couple with the Pulse Bomb as well, and it is just all London right now. 1 minute left for London's attack, and they have not taken a point yet, or a tick yet, rather.
Ooh,
on
that's
point B.
dagger on a Gesture too. So we're gonna see the EMP goes down. It does hit the Tracer and the Mercy, and then Baby Bay hits the other 2 with the Pulse Bomb. Beautiful fight from the Shock. And London in dire straits now, not even that single tick. 1 attack left. They have a Transcendence. That's their big advantage. They have to make this play work, and they can't let Dante get another EMP.
Oh, there's the Transcendence used already. They're just going to charge the point now. 30 seconds remaining. Prophet lurking on the outside, trying to find a juicy target for this Pulse Bomb here. Wujal with the kill on the Nevix. That helps. There's the stick. No, it didn't. It hit the wall instead. Fell down to the ground. And that's going to be an ultimate that London really needed to make something out of. Nomi, Primal Rage. See if he can redeem the rest of them. Oh, but Baby Bay with the stick onto Hureg.
EMP finally activated. Baby Bay cleans up the DPS, and that's going to be it. Only Nuss remaining, and he's not going to get to the point.
Wow, there you have it. Really solid defensive round from San Francisco. They put it together, and there's a lot of things to unpack, I think, with that one, both on the defensive side for San Francisco and on the offensive side from London. Where do you want to start on this one? You want to go with the EMPs? Do you want to go with Bedoshin's ultimates?
A lot of
What do
it
you want
was
to
the
talk
EMPs, and Dante positioning himself well to maximize their value, or at least forcing the Transcendences out. Support ultimates from the Spitfire, a little bit hasty at times, and honestly, a lot of it is when we see Hureg, he's got to be able to hit those shots.
Yeah.
Baseline, you need to be able to make plays. If you're going to be on the long range hit scan, you need to have a mind game with Dante so you can bait him out for the flashbang. And Dante outmaneuvering Hureg consistently throughout Volskaya so far.
You know, Birdring's just bouncing around on the bench right now, being like, it could have been me. I could hit those shots.
Well, the desk talked about it a lot. This is London. They do like to save strategies for particular opponents, especially when they have a more difficult one, at least on paper later in the week, but it has come back to bite them before.
Yeah. Pretty solid first round from Moth as well, I think. Some composure under fire. Died a couple times there, but a really nice sleep dart onto Gesture, actually.
He had a couple of them. He had a couple really good sleep darts onto Gesture. Gesture, I think, needs to respect the Ana player a bit more. He's been going in too deep.
Wow. Really good pulse bombs from Baby Bay, as our stat just showed us. Sticks on 4 out of the 5 and getting a lot of kills out of that.
Interestingly, you could see a lot of targeting on Gesture. So he had 9 eliminations, but 8 deaths in that match. So the front line has been particularly targeted. This is San Francisco. They love to shoot tanks. We know Dante and Baby Bay have very high damage per 10-minute rates because they do tend to focus the front line. So Gesture needs to realize that's how San Francisco plays and stop going in so aggressively.
It seemed like so many times, too, on point B, Gesture was just trying to force something. You know, the team would get a bit split up, and he'd like, well, guys, I'm just going to go Primal Rage, see what I can do. Oh, Sleepy putting the headshots into Profit. Good start for San Francisco here on the attack, removing the Tracer helps away, but now Baby Bay sniped down from Ureg. Got a bit distracted by the Winston there.
There's not going to be a resurrection on the side of London, so they're going to wait for Profit to come back. Meanwhile, Rez onto Baby Bay on the high ground.
Ooh, tricky move actually onto Profit there. Dante nearly getting him.
San Francisco's playing awfully passively in a 6v5. Profit now back with the rest of the team, but I think they had some opportunities before Moth died.
Yep. Dante
Do some work.
Mired in the Tracer v Tracer on the side of the fight too. I suppose then you're occupying Profit, which is great. But you want to help the people on the point too.
Yeah, now the Infrasight is going to force some hiding behind terrain for the Spitfire. Dante low, close to that pulse bomb. He's not going to get any healing from his teammates. Nuss uses the Valkyrie, and they're going to wait this one out. So Dante and the rest of the Shock fall back after they see Nuss use that ult.
Really dangerous one for Baby Bay. Backs away. Gesture was almost there at the right time for the finish, but Pedosin hammers him with the orbs instead. Meanwhile, Dante coming in, lobs in the pulse bomb. No kills out of that one. Then he gets capped by Hureg on the outside.
And what the Spitfire realized was that Dante had gone so far back to that other mega health pack that they, in essence, had a 6v5, immediately collapse on the front line. And so San Francisco struggling to make the most of their opportunities on this map.
Yeah, and oh, Moth down again. Gesture with the killing blow into that one. And San Francisco, I mean, they're in such a great place to win this map if they can take point A. As we see Gesture juggle people around. Because if you take point A as San Francisco, all you need is a single tick on point B to win the map. So if you get full health here, you're really kind of feeling bad about that one.
A window of time rapidly closing too. They tried to wait out the Valkyrie. Nuss is 90% of the way up to another one. So they haven't been, the timing windows have been there on the side of San Francisco, but they have not been exploited.
You gotta get something done. They're gonna try right now. They've got 4 ultimates to use. Profit finds a lot of people in a tiny room. That's dangerous. There's the stick. Moth falls again. And that's a lot of damage. DMAC and death onto Nevix as well. Oh man, they cornered San Francisco and made them pay for that one.
Yeah, you know you can force out the trance if you get them into that room, but that doesn't help you with the burst damage from the pulse bomb.
Exactly.
They come in with a trance of their own. Dante, no pulse bomb there. They saw Dante use it at the end of the last fight. So if you fight in that contained area, you know you're going to win with your burst damage, even if both of you use trance. That's a smart call from the Spitfire.
Ureg, they're really focusing him. He's had a lot of protection, but not anymore. Bounce off the map by Nomi. San Francisco, it's do or die for them. 40 seconds remaining. They get Pedoshin as well. It's a 6v4, make it a 6v3 as Baby Bay gets a couple. And there we go. Baby Bay caught by the self-destruct. Whoops. Profit Rez. And maybe Gesture with this Primal Rage could delay long enough.
There's still 4 members of the Spitfire around the point, as you can see. One of them's gonna fall. Hureg down, but Nuss still there healing up. Gesture still alive. Wuhol out of his mech and finally taken down.
A good dive by Nomi to get the finish on that one kill. Looks like San Francisco may be able to do it, but there's Nevix taken out by the pulse bomb. Gesture back in at full health again. And now Profit enters the fray one more time. Pedoshin takes a big chunk out of Dante. San Francisco struggling here. They need to take this point.
Sleepy's back in with the soldier to provide the extra damage. Now swapping off on his hero. He's getting low. He's going to get jumped on, pounded into the pavement by Gesture.
That's right, man. And London Spitfire finally winning this fight. There's the cleanup. Nevix still on the point for the moment. Moth now on the Sombra, but he's not going to last long. And overtime expiring, it looks like it's going to be London taking Volskaya Industries.
And this is one of the most frustrating things about the San Francisco Shock right now. You get impressed by them. They look like they're so close to winning. They should have been able to push through on that last fight. They had every advantage going for them, but in overtime, the Shock so frequently fall apart. I don't know if their comms, drop drastically, if they start to panic and talk over each other, but for whatever reason, when push comes to shove, the Shock tend to collapse.
True enough. Well, we'll see if they can pull it together as we go towards our control map. Don't go anywhere, guys. More Overwatch League coming up after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
무혈, 플렉스, 런던 스피파이어. 요즘은 딱 어떤 포지션을 정해주는 게 아니고 약간 다 잘하는 게 좋죠.
Down again they go as the self-destruct over the top.
Oh boy, that's big.
프로 가고 싶잖아요. 근데 저희 집에서는 게임하는 걸 굉장히 싫어하세요. 게임하는 걸 완전 반대하시고. 그래서 제가 선택한 거는 그냥 대학교 다니고 기숙사에 있는 척하면서 그냥 어떤 팀에 합숙하러 들어갔었어요. 부모님한테는 열심히 공부하고 있다고 뻥치고.
Shut down, sir.
Ooh, y'all not having any of it.
그러다가 이제 잘 되게 됐고, 그리고 이제 부모님한테 따뜻하게 말씀드렸습니다.
Both tanks in action here for the London Spitfire.
아제스가 메인 탱커에서 원숭이 하고 있고, 이제 제가 디바오잖아요. 원래 둘이 꼭 붙어 다닌단 말이에요. 게임 내에서도. 뭐 대충 그렇듯이 그냥 둘이 가장 성격이 잘 맞고 생일도 이때 잘 바뀌었네요.
Ooh, y'all with the knockout super. When he finishes the job.
리그의 최고 선수는 아직은 딱 확답을 낼 수는 없는데 제가 내고 싶네요.
I'm very happy for Woo Hyul because that story could have ended very differently if he would have lied to his parents about going to college and then didn't make it on a pro team. That could have ended very badly.
Well, as it ended now, it's going quite well for
Yeah,
him. So
honestly,
so
yeah.
credit to him for following his dreams, right,
Hey,
Noah?
sometimes you got to push the envelope, you know? I don't recommend lying to your parents. I will not endorse that, but
I endorse it.
good job, you all. I know, but that's because we have kind of a good cop, bad cop thing going on, you know? Just kind of how it works.
Hey, I just want to support people following their dreams. Sometimes parents don't understand the modern world,
You know,
and Woo Hyul did.
I think we can just sit down and have a conversation with your parents, explain to them how great esports is.
Maybe you did. Maybe it didn't work. Doesn't always work. But how
Well-
can you argue now?
You can't.
That's right.
That's right. The ends justify the means, according to Monte Cristo. We
That's
got
right.
it. Well, we're going to Nepal, guys. Our control map. And this is an interesting map type for London, actually, because they have, in Overwatch League overall, they have the same number of losses on control that they have in all other map types combined. So this has been a struggle for them.
Yeah, and part of that was how abysmal they were on Oasis in stage 1.
Yeah,
But
for
even
sure.
if you ignore that, though, I definitely agree with you. The control has been a bit of a struggle for them. They've been unable to close even some of the close matches that they've had on Ilios. So it hasn't been an easy ride. But the Shock are fairly predictable on control overall. Again, it's going to be, unless they change something dramatically, a lot of McCree Tracer or Soldier Tracer. They might mix it up a little bit on Sanctum, where they have played some Pharah and some Orisa.
Yep. You'd expect a little bit of that. Nepal is gives you a nice amount of variation opportunities too. So especially on a map like Sanctum, I really like our control map pool for this stage because each one of these has one stage where you can run like these crazy triple tank comps around Orisa and things like that.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to start off with one of those stages. It's gonna be Sanctum on Nepal that we're gonna begin our control map with.
And as we look at the Spitfire here, Jester will be on the Orisa, and they are going to play double sniper. Last time we saw them on this map, they played the Junkrat alongside the Widow.
Love it.
But long range damage, and it's going to be hard for them to barrier bust here because they're going to have less DPS. So with Dante on, the Orisa shields will be broken faster, but that doesn't matter if you just walk up and hook them.
I was gonna say, yeah, you just walk up and kill Baby Bay. That's pretty nice. Mob there with the res, so surprised he was able to actually get that one off.
Well, the issue is that, yeah, you can kill Baby Bay like that, but you can't break through the Orisa barrier, so there's plenty of time to get the resurrection out. Hureg gonna counter-snipe Baby Bay.
There we go.
Again.
Oh, Nomi down too, so Hureg having a little bit of hard time hitting the shots on Volskaya, but coming through big on Sanctum with a couple crucial kills.
I think Nomi should move over to Reinhardt now, just so they... Oh, he's going to move to Winston, actually.
Oh, they're going the aggressive route, it looks like.
I'm a bit surprised they're going to try and get back onto the snipers, but I would just make a slow push onto the point itself and try and deal with those snipers by just having more barrier damage.
Yeah, so says the Reinhardt main in our ranked games. Yeah, doesn't surprise me at all, Monty.
It's not about that, it's the strat.
Sure, I totally believe you. Totally believe you.
Yeah, big switch up though for the San Francisco Shock as they are going to move over to a dive composition here. So a lot of early swapping off going to be happening.
I love it how Hanzo says my aim is true when he fires scatter arrow sometimes. I'm like, man, you didn't aim at all. Prophet throws out the Dragon Strike. Gesture gets Nevix. It's a good D-Mech on the Diva. Now Prophet has to back away. Fired that scatter arrow right in the Nomi. Is it going to be enough damage for the rest of the team to finish it off, though? Oh, nice kill on Dante. A palm to the face. Goodbye, brother.
Farewell.
That's right.
Slapping him back into spawn.
It's a true older brother, little brother relationship there, I guess. They've got San Francisco bottled up in spawn now, and this is definitely one of those maps where if you get pushed back like this, it can be tough to assault the point.
Yeah, you see the reaction to Hureg onto the Pharah, knowing that he is not going to be harassed in midair by this dive composition, and especially when they're already controlling the choke points here. Great pick.
Sure enough. We all went for that hook as the team came around the corner. Didn't pan out. There goes Baby Bay. Uh-oh, Bedosian already coming up with a big pick. There's the hook. Nevix brought in. Getting very low, getting D-Mech. He's going to use the Primal Rage, but that's okay. They're just going to jump on the rest of the team. Hureg on the Pharah now. Prophet did fall. Dante pulls out the Dragon Blade, really low health. He's going to get taken down.
There's no choice, Doa. He had to get onto the point, and no one else is going to be able to make it there. London dominant. Starting out with the double sniper, but then adjusting to the composition of San Francisco. And I think diving that is a mistake from the side of the Shock. I think they came out with a lot of tools to win a barrier battle, control the high ground, and with a couple of adjustments from the tank line, bringing in the Reinhardt, I think you stand a much better chance against what we saw London running, but opted for the dive instead and would never get the necessary kills on the back line.
Yep. Ended up being a 30-6 in eliminations that game. That's a rough round for San Francisco.
And you see the adaptations from the Spitfire too. The San Francisco Shock were punishing Gesture, focusing him as he played aggressively. But on that first point and also on London's defense, he has not died. So since the attack run of London on Volskaya, he has not died once.
That's crazy. Now San Francisco rushing the point now. They want to just try to control it, get that defender's advantage from the very beginning. Baby backing off, has to drop the biotic field, and he's going to retreat. London slow pushing their way onto the point here.
Yeah, the problem is that they're running these mirror compositions, and there's already London surrounding them. Prophet finds Sleepy on the flank.
Yeah, gets the assassination on the Zenyatta. London with a good start here already. They've nearly got it taken. They will get the control percent rolling quickly. Nomi already down, and that's going to be a late kill on the Moth. Taken out as he flees, and that's going to just delay San Francisco a little bit more as they set up their attack. London looking pretty unstoppable so far on control.
Yeah, only 2 deaths so far on Nepal, Prophet, and Hureg. Both DPSs eliminated once by the Shock, but they have been stalwart. So immediately as we start to talk about this as perhaps being the weakest map time for London, they come out with a incredibly dominant performance.
Hey, there we go. Prophet died at least. That's something for San Francisco. Transcendence now for London as they try to keep hold of the point. San Francisco retreating for the moment. They're going to try to wait out that support ultimate. But there goes Gesture. Baby Bay with a nice kill there. They're going to send in the self-destruct as well. Hureg avoids it, but Nuss can't. And San Francisco, nice kill onto Hureg from Moth. They've got a great chance to take this one back again. And they will flip it.
Even getting the self-destruct out, so they'll be feeling great about that. Bedoshin,
run!
Dearly punished. Baby Bay does not die, has to use his biotic field though. San Francisco waiting out the Transcendence. They didn't have any support ultimates. That's why London engaged with the 5v6. They thought they could get it done with the Trans, but great reaction, retreat from the Shock.
Yeah.
And then the re-engagement with the player advantage works out in their favor.
Prophet with the 1v1 on Dante. We could win that one. Baby Bay now on the biotic field, getting pushed back. There's the tag visor. He's going into the sound barrier though. They do get the D-Mech onto Wu Yal. Transcendence in from Sleepy to keep everybody up. Baby Bay batted around. He's going to get taken out by Prophet, but overall, San Francisco winning this fight.
Moth with a really late sound barrier there. That's one you really wish you would have had back. He didn't need that with only 3 members of the Spitfire remaining on the point. Bit of nerves there, perhaps.
Well, they win the fight at least, and they will maintain control. They've got more percent than London now.
Yeah, but they didn't have to use both support ults. That's a big problem for them if they want to maintain this control moving forward.
That's right, here we go. London on the attack again. Gonna be attack visor.
Baby Bay clearing this up. That is a massive play on the flank from Baby Bay. To pick up those kills. That's gonna keep them in this one, Doa. They desperately needed to win that fight, and they do it.
Yeah, San Francisco in position to take this round. All they need to do is defend. One more assault from London Spitfire, and they'll be able to tie up this Nepal map at least.
Yeah, Bedoshin still. Transcendence advantage. They're going to have to use the Trans probably to close the gap, though, depending on how much damage they're going to do. Dante wants to stagger them as much as he can with a pulse bomb.
He's got a chance to win this with a good ult right here.
Wants to get Bedoshin, wants the Trans to go away.
Yep, that's right. Waiting for the defensive matrix as well. Now the Transcendence comes in. Nomi down. San Francisco with an advantage already as they go in here. There goes Baby Bay, the man who's given them so much trouble here on Shrine. We're into overtime, though. And that's a kill on the Moth, and it looks like London making their last attack count, and they will regain control of the point.
So Dante saves the pulse bomb, knowing that Sleepy's going to have his Transcendence soon. That will be matched by Nuss on the sound barrier. So they want to make a strong attack. They're not all-inning because they have time.
Right.
Question is whether that is going to end up paying off for them.
Oh, they're getting up. They're getting close on some ults here. They're going to have Transcendence pretty quickly. Nomi.
They need the trance to
have,
go in.
That should have Primal Rage in the near future as well. So you can be a bit patient, but not too patient. Already 80% for London. Here we go. Sound barrier for London Spitfires. Baby Bay comes in with the attack visor. Gets stuck though. That's a big one from Dante. Prophet and Hureg down. No more DPS for London. How do you defend it at this point? It's not going to be easy. Wuyal trying to zone. Oh, nice knockoff. Vidoshin kills Sleepy as he falls off the edge, I believe. Yeah, there goes Baby Bay. So overtime ticking. San Francisco Shock on the verge of winning this round.
Coming back. Hureg has attack.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe the respawns can do it. They push Shock back. This could be it. Now the attack visor comes in from Hureg, answering with his own Soldier Ultimate. They will retake up to 97, 98, 99. Can they get it? They will.
Could not get there to trigger it.
A game of inches, but it's going to be London Spitfire that goes up 2-0 in this series.
And Dante almost got it with that pulse bomb. They forced the sound barrier, and that was the timing he needed to pick up too, but the London Spitfire fighting back and sending them to a 2-0 lead in this match.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like what you mentioned earlier, Monty, that it seems like when it comes to these high-pressure moments in games, sometimes a Shock do just kind of collapse. And it was a better round on Shrine, but ultimately not a win for them. Halftime when we come back, guys, as the desk breaks it down.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
Nothing like a scatter arrow to the face. Profit helps the Spitfire jump out to a 2-0 lead over the San Francisco Shock at the half. Welcome back, everybody. London Spitfire in control so far, but it's been a much closer series than the numbers would say. And Sideshow, we were talking about it at the desk. The Shock have looked really good at times today. In fact, they've been in winning positions that they seem to just let go.
Oh, I'm so frustrated watching the Shock. They're so close all the time. They set themselves up. They get an advantage. They have a win condition for a map, and then they crumble. Monty was talking about it. We don't know what's going on. Is it something communication-wise? Do they start to play more safe and cautious? Do they just not quite realize how to take the fights to end up winning the map? We don't know what's going on, but this is a repeat offense coming out from the Shock, and it's so frustrating to watch because they're good enough to do it, Puckett.
It's almost as frustrating as a Primal May. Now, Crumbs, London isn't showing their best gameplay either, though. They're opening the door for the Shock at times, and how worried should the London fans be? Because it's starting to look a little bit like their series against the Gladiators to me.
They shouldn't be too worried, but they do have some plays that are just over the top comical, which is exactly where the frustration comes on the San Francisco Shock. When the team is making these major mistakes, you should be just pouncing on the opportunity and taking it to them. And we've got insights powered by Intel here to show exactly what the London Spitfire are doing that is a little bit, well, let's just say, it doesn't go that well. So we're gonna just take another look here at what happens here. This is an attack from the Spitfire, and you get to see that they are all clumped up right here. So you're thinking, okay, this is just a classic London Spitfire. You attack Volskaya on the left-hand side. Everything should go fine and dandy. But they split up, and this is when things get a little ridiculous, because Nomi attacks the backline, and I want you to take another look at the supports right here in the top. These supports, you can't really see them too well, but that's a Zenyatta and a Mercy that are going on some sort of strange mission, because why are they there? Shouldn't they be healing? Shouldn't they have a line of sight of anybody else? Why is the rest of the team here?
You got a damage boost to Zenyatta, bro.
Right, what's going on? And, well, we get to see exactly what goes on, because Bedosin goes for a flank with Nuss. The fight just goes all over the place, and he exits out with a Transcendence to try to save everybody after they've already died. So you go, I don't even know how to say that one.
The worst part was you saw both Bedosin and Nuss die a few seconds later. It was just a ridiculous stagger, and the Shock held on defense. So now we think, all right, Shock, you got a chance to steal game number 1 against the London Spitfire. It didn't happen in the second half. Why were they struggling so much on the attack?
Well, I think on the attack, they never quite got into a position to be able to do it, and they had a great setup on the defense. It looked like when they were on the defense, they had a game plan and an idea, and that kind of broke down when they were on the attack. But to focus on the positive for a moment, their defense was really good, as you were saying. Dante had great EMPs, and the way that they were working around this Sombra was excellent. Now, in the clip that the Crumbs just showed you, now, the reason the supports are off on their own is they're trying to avoid the EMP and come in afterwards to save them, but it's just miscommunication all over for the London Spitfire, because San Francisco are executing so well with Dante on this Sombra. And we were discussing it at the beginning, you know, Dante has got to fight for his spot with Sinatra. Sinatra is going to be eligible in only a couple of days. But does Sinatra play the Sombra that well? I'm not too sure. This could be Dante's little niche that he's carved out for himself.
We've seen it with other teams. Will he become a Sombra specialist? We got Brigitte coming out in the future. You never know what we're going to see from the Shock squad until those players are actually in the mix. Let's focus a little bit about the London players, though. They walked away with the victory. What did you see from the London squad with this current lineup?
So the London squad, especially on Nepal, was running basically a mirror comp on the second point, which means that your advantages are very minute. The second you make a mistake, you're going to most likely lose the fight. And it's all about the ultimate management and utilizing your positioning a little bit better, which was weird to see San Francisco go head-to-head with this one, because you think London's fine taking this. They're on paper the superior team, whereas San Francisco should be looking to take advantages elsewhere, but London just held on through it.
Yeah, I think something that I'm looking for as we go throughout this match is that I think Hureg has struggled a little bit. He's had some good moments, but at times there have been points where he hasn't quite been hitting his shots. And I think that let them down a little bit on Volskaya and opened up the door for the defense to work out that well. And as we go throughohout the series, this is the kind of thing where when we saw them play against the Gladiators, they made big swaps at the half. Maybe they're not feeling like they need to make swaps with the 2-0 up, but San Francisco have been well in this game and Hurek hasn't been having the biggest impact. You know, you compare the guys that sat on the bench, you got Birdring there, you got Fury, so perhaps this is tactical, but San Francisco Shock are definitely looking like they're keeping pace with the guys on the London Spitfire.
We got Hollywood coming up next. If Hureg is back in the lineup, do you want to see him on Junkrat and Projectiles, or do you want to see him back on the hit scan, which seemed like most of his heroes from Volskaya?
I'd go Widowmaker attack and potentially defense on point B, and a little bit of Pharah on point A.
Let's talk about the reverse sweep, Crumbs. If you're going to make every fan of the San Francisco Shock super happy, especially that man, how do they get the job done?
I think Junkrats actually might be the order here. If Dante can bust out a Junkrat, we've seen how much damage it can do on this map. If he can actually get a couple of meaningful picks and just dislodge the lineup of the London Spitfire, force them to split up as we saw in Volskaya and go on ridiculous missions. I mean, we know what happens when Zenyatta's go flank around. Jaehong's no stranger to that one, even though he's not playing. Junkrat, I think, is the play.
All right, LA, it's time to wake up one more time. I want to see where the Shock fans cheering in the second half. Got a lot of love in the room. They're going to need it. They're down 0-2. We'll find out. Can they mount the comeback? Game 3, Hollywood, is coming up next.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
over the San Francisco Shock. And you know what? The Shock, they've been hanging in there, but it looks like the London Spitfire have their eyes set on another trip to the stage finals. Will the San Francisco Shock be able to rally and bring it back with a reverse sweep? Yeah, baby! Woo! Yeah! Tyler thinks so. Daniel thinks so. So let's go ahead, get back into the game, and send it over to our casters, Monty and Doe.
All right, thanks, Malik. I'm not going to argue with Tyler because He terrifies me. But that's okay, because San
fact,
Francisco has...
Doa's actually just afraid of any Tyler. He has a Tyler phobia in general, so...
Is this Tyler in grade school? No, I have nothing against you, Tyler. You are the kind
He
of
has
fan.
something against every Tyler, actually.
We all aspire to be... What? No, I don't. I have nothing against Tylers. I will name my firstborn child. No, I can't make that kind of promise, guys. I can't.
Oh.
I can't. Something well, either way, the chance for a reverse sweep is certainly a possibility. They're going to have to start it, though, on Hollywood. That's where we are going for our hybrid map. London Spitfire versus San Francisco Shock.
And normally, I'd shut you down, Doa, if you said it was a possibility and I didn't believe it. But I do believe it. Like Nadeska was saying, they've had some real momentum in this map.
Well, even the first two maps, too. There were moments where you're like, all right, maybe not so much on Nepal, but on Volskaya, there were certainly moments. I mean, that realistically should have been the Shock's map.
I think they at least had a fighting chance, and they should have taken point A. Again, the Shock's ailments are a bit mysterious because they certainly start off these maps better than they end them when it push comes to shove, when they have to make the clutch play, when they have to use an advantage to finish out a map, they just fall apart. And I'm not sure why that's happening. It has been a consistent problem with them over the course of the Overwatch League. Some days it's better than others, but I think that's probably the most frustrating thing about them right now is their inability to close.
Indeed. Well, the defense for San Francisco Shock looking a little bit different here. Dante is going with the Junkrat, it looks like.
Yeah, they do like to run Orisa here.
Yep.
On their A defenses on Hollywood. And we'll see what it will be on the side of the Spitfire once Hureg selects a non-Reinhardt hero.
Soldier 76 hates chairs. Wow. I hate these things. Got in my cafe chairs.
He dislikes them almost as much as you dislike Tyler's.
No, oh, come on. That's just unfair. London Spitfire on the attack. There he is. Prophet on the Hanzo. Is he going to stick with it? I think he is. All right. Prophet on the Hanzo. Hureg going for the McCree. A lot of poke coming in.
Yeah, a lot of poke, a lot of pick. Crowd control, ability to one-shot people with a hook or a Hanzo arrow. They're going to rotate all the way back around to the opposite side of the map.
Oh,
Uyal is demexed. That is...
Already.
He is pulled out of the way by a halt. And so he's not going to be able to rejoin his team. This is going to really slow down the Spitfire attack. He has to go all the way back to spawn to remech now. That's a massive problem.
Prophet force off the high ground for the moment.
Okay, he's just gonna remech.
Sure.
Switch onto the Reinhardt.
That happens.
But that's a big drain on time. About 20 seconds you don't have back now.
Yeah. Down the stairs. Ooh, scatter arrow comes through. A lot of that damage blocked though by the shield, I believe. Oh, saw the trap. Oh, that was a close one.
That was extremely close as they tried to pull him onto the concussion mine.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's going to resurrect Bedoshin here. They're still trying. They're fishing with that hook, but they're
poking.
The Orisa shield is not allowing them to get much done, and that is not where you want the Rimtire to go. Gesture simply going to heal back up, but they do make Nuss use the Valkyrie.
Oh, Dante gets the kill on Gesture anyway, so Shock killing off a crucial member of the team. There's Baby Bay with the attack visor just to push them all back. Don't know about that one. They probably would have fallen back even without him using the attack visor. They had just lost their main tank.
Okay, so now a lot of changes coming through. Prophet over to the Zarya, Gesture, Reinhardt, Nuss, Lucio. So they're going to speed boost triple tank onto the point, but they're not going Moira. So this is going to be a direct assault onto the point now.
Or around the back anyway.
Yeah, they want to fight for the point itself. They're going to charge the Zarya as much as they can before they go in.
They got to go back. Bedoshin wasn't able to make the go across the choke with them. Now they're onto the point. There's an ult from Nevix backing away. Prophet gets the kill, but Hureg caught though by that self-destruct. Gesture with the kill to Dante, but Dante got Prophet with a trap in the end. Us fighting for his life. They've got the transcendence, but why would you do that
just
there?
a Lucio and a Diva there. That is.
I did not know about that.
And then he dies.
Yeah. Bedoshin's transcendences today have not been stellar.
They have been uninspiring, I agree.
They have not been transcendent.
They have not been transcendent. Okay, finally we now see the Moira. This has been a bizarre, slow swap from the Spitfire. I think if you want to play triple tank into this, you go all in with the Moira at first.
I mean, maybe that was the thing. You pop transcendence, you're like, I'm going to swap to the Moira anyway. I don't know.
I guess, yeah. That is definitely the thinking there, but you should have swapped to it earlier.
Here we go. Riptire coming in from Dante again. Trying to bat lines. He gets Profit. And he gets a D-Mech onto Wuhyal. Devastating Riptire from Dante. Goodbye, Nuss. And Profit shut down hard. And now they're under a minute remaining on this attack. Ureg taken down, and ooh, this one's looking a little bit rough for London. They've got one more attack, and they need to make it count.
Yeah, they do. Baby Bay's been a monster so far. Already 10 eliminations on this Soldier 76, leading his team right now. He's been untouched this entire time. And the Soldier still dealing a lot of damage from above.
Gonna have to be the perfect Earth Shatter from Gesture coming in here. Oh, no chance. He got killed during the animation, I think. Either that, and it got blocked by the shield anyway. Baby Bay with the cleanup as the fight has barely begun, but it's over already. That's gonna be almost certainly a full hold for San Francisco. Can't imagine how London gets back on the point here.
Well, Profit is hiding behind the point right now, so they are going to be able to touch it.
Me?
There's nobody from San Francisco there. They're going to get some percent off of this.
The sneaky Azaria in Overwatch League coming in here, getting a little bit of percentage. They dropped the self-destruct in there too. That was a really good place to put it. Now the sound barrier coming in. London making a go of it. They need to win the fight big. Oh, Profit down to the Riptire though. And San Francisco Shock still holding on. Can they keep the Nuss down? Overtime getting lower. Sleepy bounce out of the fight though. Baby Bay with a kill onto Gesture right after that. And that'll be it. San Francisco will full hold. London with barely a tick onto point A.
Yeah, 60% in the end. Profit hiding did boost their percent by about 7. But otherwise well held by the San Francisco Shock.
Really?
And the way they're playing that, Doa, so they were playing the Junkrat and the Soldier on opposite sides of the point.
He died during the animation, I thought so.
Yeah. Got shut down. But when you have the Junkrat on the Soldier up there, you have to have something on attack that's going to dislodge them. And instead, basically, it was London just sprinting into the Valley of Death over and over and over again.
Pretty much, man. They just kept running into the meat grinder, and you can't expect to not get sausage out of that.
Riptires take out the supports. When you're shooting these triple tanks, they had to play for the high ground against that style of composition. Maybe you go for the Pharah too and play at long range versus the Soldier. You have to put pressure there because there was no pressure on the Junkrat or the Soldier, and all the kills come through for San Francisco, so they coast to a win there, not really ever challenged.
True enough. So now we go to a situation where once again San Francisco finds themselves in a situation to win on an attack here pretty easily. See if they can do better than they did on Volskaya.
And here's what I don't understand about the Spitfire, Doa. Shock have a propensity for playing Sombra on attack here.
They do.
You should run Hureg on the McCree in this situation because you understand that Dante's going to be coming in with that hero. They've shown this style of attack before.
I love
They're
that
going to
stat.
do it again here. Now, it may not work because of the Junkrat from Profit. Again, they'll have a similar problem with dealing with that. And if San Francisco reads this quickly, they could run to Pharah Tracer or Pharah Sombra. They're actually going to play with the Junkrat. Okay, so changing it at the last moment. But still, when you see this from the Spitfire, you have a chance to run back and swap up your comp.
Here we go. Shock on the attack. Going in with triple tank. Charging right onto the point right now. They want it. They want it now. Remember, they only need about 2/3 of the point to win this one. Maybe they take shelter in the cafe along with the Reinhardt. Nomi there as well.
See Profit already 33% of the way to the Riptire. Lots of damage being done by the Spitfire Junkrat.
I was gonna say, it's so hard to contest the Junkrat here.
They're trading.
Oh, Nuss.
They're trading Spitfire or the Riptire charge for Coalescence charge. That's not necessarily a great trade.
Now, Sleepy's gonna have this ult in a second. He's got it now. They're gonna use it probably pretty quick. Yeah, there we go. Coalescence, San Francisco wants to win the attack here. Baby Bay coming up the back, now rejoining his team as Profit goes down. Here comes a Riptire. They gotta stop this one. Riptire coming in, and oh, Mock
Dante
can't do
barely
it.
lives.
That's right, could be big. San Francisco still trying to push this one forward. Oh, but they lose Baby Bay, and London starting to sort of get some purchase on the point now. Profit with the kill onto Nevix's mech. There goes Nevix, and it looks like London will hold for the moment.
Yeah, barely saving Prophet on the Junkrat,
That was
making
close.
sure that Nomi stayed away from him in the end. Badoshin returning with a Transcendence now.
Well, crucially there, Shock did not get a first tick, so it's still going to be just as hard for them to take it as it was at the beginning of the map. They don't get to start from one tick up. Dante going airborne.
Urek's going to be looking for him on the flank. They know he has a Riptire. It's just a matter of catching him while he's using it.
That's right. Oh, they get sleepy though. Oh, Prophet got him. Meanwhile, yeah, Ureg in the back with that Tracer. Nomi down already. San Francisco getting shut down. Starting to scramble here. And you gotta wonder, is this another one of those moments when you get to these high pressure situations? San Francisco now, they nearly have 6 ultimates. If they can't do it here,
Yeah, they're playing around their ults, like you're saying, Doa. They're trying to eco push in, force Spitfire into an ult economy deficit, but they're putting all their eggs in the 6 ult basket.
it's a good basket to put your eggs in, I think, right now. They're coming in, Riptire incoming,
That was
Dante.
a great self-destruct.
That's right, Prophet take him down. They get Badoshin and Ureg as well. Nomi swinging away. He's got the sound barrier for the moment. And there's the Earth Shatter they were looking for. Goodbye, Badoshin. And Nomi able to push San Francisco through here to a 1 team fight and perhaps their first 1 map of the series. Just a bit more cleanup. I don't think Prophet can hold this one by himself.
That's going to be it, Doa.
I think so.
Nobody's going to make it back in time. San Francisco is going to take Hollywood.
Hey, they step up when they needed to. Couple economy pushes, and the big ults came through, and that's going to be San Francisco winning Hollywood.
And Nevix threw his self-destruct into the very back of the point. However, Prophet had already pulled his Riptire, so he couldn't move out of the way. Happenstance that he ulted in the low ground behind the point and was found out by the self-destruct. But that is a fantastic opening kill to get if you're the San Francisco Shock.
Yeah. Very solid final fight to Hollywood. A quick map going the way of San Francisco. Come back maybe. We'll see if the momentum continues on Escort as we come back after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
everyone, this is Zoe. Now today we got to see a new face on stage for the San Francisco Shock. So during, oh my god, he's so excited. So during halftime, I actually got to talk to their coach Brad about the stylistic difference between the new addition Moth and, is it a Tracer? Is it a Genji? No, it's Dax frontline Lucio. I jest, but really, the biggest difference is the amount of aggression from those two players. Moth, as we saw on stage, is playing a lot more conservative. He's staying back, he's peeling a lot for his Zenyatta, Sleepy in this case, and make sure that Sleepy is staying alive. On the other side, we know and love Dak for his aggression. He's out there together with Baby Bay looking for trouble. So that's the biggest difference we actually get to see on this stage. Let's see what they have in store for us for the next map. And for all the action, we're heading over to our casters.
Thank you, Zoe. Hey, don't call it a comeback, not yet, but maybe after all. Interestingly enough, that was actually San Francisco's first win on Hollywood in Stage 2, and it was also London's first loss.
Yeah, very good stuff from San Francisco. That time, unlike Volskaya, they translated a strong defense into a successful attack.
Right.
So able to take that map in the end. Baby Bay ends the match with 23 eliminations, 10 final blows, and 1 death. So outstanding performance from him.
Very solid stuff. We are going to Route 66, and this is another one of those maps where you think if you're London, you'd have to expect the Sombra coming in from San Francisco.
Definitely should. Sombra Tracer, this is one of the maps where Baby Bay likes to flex onto the Tracer role, so they have both the Sombra and the Tracer out at the same time. Route 66, there've been some interesting strats. I expect Hureg's McCree to come out here again. Sometimes, last time London played it, they did have Jester on the Roadhog, so it was Roadhog Diva with Tracer and Widowmaker.
Right.
They may run that again, but I think that's probably not ideal.
It could be. We will find out. And, you know, it's interesting to see, again, this roster that London is running, right? I mean, it's kind of that half roster between GC Busan and their other players. And, you know, you talk about how, yeah, Fury is usually a stronger diva than Wu Hyal's kind of shown us. But at the same time, you wonder if London is really just kind of putting a lot of their efforts into that match against Seoul later.
I think they definitely are, right? But they have to win this match, too. It's been emphasized. We only have a week and a half left before the stage playoffs, and due to their loss to the Gladiators, they are trailing. So trap games like this can actually ruin your stage playoff chances. They can't afford to lose to either Seoul or San Francisco.
I mean, you and I were talking about this during the break. You know, hey, how about this novel idea that some other teams have pursued where you take your best players and then they just play every match? Whoa,
but then
what a concept.
You do show off some strategies, and obviously with the Bird Ring Prophet and Fury combination, they seem to be saving some things for the likes of Seoul. We'll have to see if that pays off.
It's got to be something amazing here, because I think London could certainly use Bird Ring as they go out onto Route 66 here. Hureg on the Widowmaker. A pretty typical Widowmaker Tracer for London, although this time around they are not going to be using the Roadhog.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that we see the Widow here. Hureg was missing a lot of his shots. You know, basically with certainty that the Sombra is coming out from San Francisco again. And they're still relying on Hureg to open up this point. San Francisco playing well around the sidelines. They're a good passive team, the Shock.
Yep, that's right, trying to play the big girls.
Trying to play poke against the Shock, yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
We'll see what happens here. The payload is moving either way. Now a little bit of pressure from Baby Bay on the Tracer in the back lines. Dante, of course, on that Sombra like we expected.
They let him build up to an EMP already.
Yeah, he's pretty much got it. Dante sneaking around the back. Detected! Look out! He's got the EMP.
No,
not yet. No, that was a bit dangerous.
Yeah,
He had
no
like half a
follow-up.
clip. Yeah,
the
no
rest
one
of
was
his
there.
team was dealing with Jester in the back line, but Hureg will remove the EMP. Jester's going to be back, and it's going to be a 6 versus 5.
Well, that's really rough because you've got no mercy to res the Sombra now, and you can get back to the point fast, but looks like San Francisco going to be banking on kind of one of those last-second defenses if they want to stop London from taking point A.
Dante's not going to have time to position either. That really messed up San Francisco.
Sure did. Greg finally hitting the shot that counts. Big EMP comes in anyway. How many did he actually get from that?
Jester and Hu.
2, yeah. Not a lot. Prophet on the roof. Sleepy down, and it looks like, yeah, London just going to grind their way through this one. And yeah, when Dante got sniped, that kind of put everything into disarray for San Francisco, and London taking advantage of that just by kind of pushing forward.
Yeah, and that's what you need to do if you're Hureg. You hit the right person at the right time. You're watching for the Sombra. You pick off the Sombra, and San Francisco can't get in position. You're coming in late. Dante's been great about flanking with the EMPs, but there was simply no time to set up. So that destroys the Shock defense, and now Spitfire free moving here through the streets phase on Route 66.
Dante's still on the Sombra, and they are one of those teams that runs that Sombra longer. Yeah, longer than a lot of other teams will. Prophet gets a stick on the Moth. Good start there. Wuyao catches Sleepy with the self-destruct as well. So London not wasting any time getting some progress going here on point B.
Yeah, as you mentioned,
Prophet's way back there.
Yeah, the Shock will play Sombra all the way through point C.
Meanwhile,
we've seen Baby Bay swap to Roadhog in the warehouse phase, but they are very bullish on the Sombra on this map.
Sure are. San Francisco is kind of wrecking London on the payload meanwhile, while Prophet goes on his own magical journey, which finally comes to an end via the orbs of Sleepy. The rest of his team pushed back by San Francisco.
San Francisco playing smarter this time. Prophet escaped their notice there on Hollywood, which could have had disastrous effects for them. Fortunately, they doubled back in enough time to stop him from backcapping, but you have to have that in the comms. If somebody's still alive, somebody needs to keep track of that so you can track him down later on, make sure you get the kill, and that time it works out. They get a stagger.
That's right. Transcendence. They baited it out. Yeah, well done by Dante. Shows up, and Bedoshin expecting that EMP. Gonna go ahead and use his NL to stay alive, and as it is, now London doesn't get out a lot. Now the EMP comes in. They've got Wuyao hacked. A couple more this time than they had last time. Dante has to recall out of there. And London, again, getting EMP, but still coming out ahead in this fight so far.
Yeah, they didn't get enough done, and because Bedoshin died, he was far back enough that Nuss was able to resurrect him. So London, they have to commit both of their support ultimates to the fight, but it ends up working for them, and they keep the payload moving.
Yeah. I'm not totally sold on Sombra on point B, Route 66. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going to block line of sight for that EMP. I can see why people do it, and of course we've seen success with it, but just don't know if it's ideal, you know?
I think it really depends on whether you can get the forward mega health back or not based on your positioning. If you have to play on the back line, I'm not so much of a fan, but Prophet, it's the big stick. Nice sleep from Moth. And
well, he's going to get charged, and he actually gets out with the recall.
And he kills Dante.
Yeah, goodbye, Dante. Things really falling apart for San Francisco right now.
Yeah, they had to fall onto the low ground. Hureg up with the Deadeye now. Eventually did make that swap over to the McCree to help out with the Sombra. They should just continue running the McCree for the rest of the map.
It's like, oh, flashbang cooldown, I need you. It turned out like it was okay after all, I guess.
Definitely okay for them. Plenty of time remaining, 3 minutes left. Some good zoning ultimates with the Deadeye and the self-destruct for them here to keep the payload moving pretty quickly.
All right, now Dante back on the Tracer. San Francisco bringing out Baby Bay's Widowmaker for the final push here. Or the final stage, I should say.
Yeah, Hureg also making a change now that he doesn't see the Sombra, doesn't have to be on the McCree any longer.
Right. Bedoshin taking that high ground. Orb of Discord onto Nevix is going to force him back a bit. Trying to create some space for Hureg to do work, but he's going to get a giant raging ape in his face right now. Backing away, there's the Transcendence from Bedoshin. Trying to get to Nuss just in time. Healing does come in, and Baby Bay losing the Widow duel to Hureg. That could be big. Oh, the stick on the Mercy, though. Prophet just finds Moth vulnerable. Nice kill on a Nevix as well. Prophet really starting to come alive here.
Yeah, it's just chasing Dante around the map right now, too, preventing him from getting back. Recall not gonna be enough to save Dante here. He's trying to play with some health backs, trying to dodge around, but the payload's still moving, and that's a kill.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat ends with a fatality for Dante. Meanwhile, on where the action is actually happening on the point, Moth falls again. Hureg finally hitting those shots they really need him to hit. San Francisco pops the Transcendence, just trying to get some sort of stability on the payload right now.
Know where everybody is, too, so if you're watching these DPS, he's not going to lose a peeking battle. Needs to hit that shot, does not hit Baby Bay.
Takes a chunk out of Sleepy, a little bit anyway. Moth does go down again. He has died so much towards the end here. Prophet having a field day against the newbie Mercy on San Francisco, and there goes Baby Bay.
He played that extremely well.
Oh, yeah.
He knew the infra sight was up, played with the sight lines until it went off, refocused his targeting, not taking the Widow tool, tries to go after the supports instead, makes that work, and then in the end wins the Widow duel anyway.
Finally,
Sureg comes in.
A little bit of time to chill for San Francisco as London resets. They've got everybody back. They've got a couple ultimates to use. So San Francisco with a real solid opportunity here to hold point C.
Now looking up right now, Dante keeping eyes on his opponent's dodges.
Ooh, that was a close one.
A Widow bullet.
That's one you'll hear in your nightmares. Well, Dante moving forward. Ooh, no opportunity to stick gesture there. They're gonna drop the shield. Gesture toe. There's the sig now. Went right through. There's a D-Mech on a Woo, y'all. Hureg down as well. Baby Bay finally starting to win the duels in the Widow v Widow. Reds came in. Nuss down. Nice shot onto the Mercy. And San Francisco trying to close this defense out. Denying London all 3 points. Only 10 seconds remaining. Panic button hit by London.
Are they even going to be able to make it back to the payload? They're trying to sneak around. Gesture is there. He has the Primal Rage, but he's getting ticked away here.
Now Primal Rage may buy time. They actually got the overtime. There comes Bedosian with the Transcendence. They've got the healing. No, not enough to keep Gesture alive. Baby Bay with another crucial kill. Bedosian gets some revenge. Reds comes in onto Baby Bay though. Dante would love to clean this one up. Nuss pushed back. They've got Wu Yol on the payload, but that's about it for London. And San Francisco on the verge of holding this one.
They're gonna demech Wu Hyul. That should be enough for them with the respawn proximity. Hureg has the infra sight, but they will charge forward with the Transcendence.
Not much durability on there. Gesture gets back with the Winston, so there's something anyway. And London somehow is not giving this up just yet. They are still fighting for it. Bedosian over on the Ana now to get some long-range safety. With the healing, nice sleep dart on the Baby Bay. Oh, that's big.
That's huge.
From across the map, he hits it, and we're still into overtime. London, though, shoved off. They gotta stay on the payload. If they get moved, overtime is gonna be gone instantly.
They're cycling the tanks. Wu Hyul's back. They're starting to heal up, Doa. They may be able to do this.
Oh, that pulse bomb from Dante got eaten, too. That's disastrous for San Francisco. They lose Moth. Back on the Lucio again. Self-destruct comes in for San Francisco. Wu Hyul demech, but they've not given it up just
Wu
yet.
Hyul gonna remech, too. Baby Bay wants to come back out with a Roadhog. Now it's all about the picks.
Yeah, that's right. And Prophet somehow, some way gets a nano boost, throws out the pulse bomb, but no kills out of that one. Nevix getting close to being demeched. He will nearly be. He is now. And there goes Bedosian. A kill for San Francisco from Dante. I can't believe this round is still going.
Oh, that was so close. Gesture's back. He has the Primal Rage.
Third time, but now the Primal Rage from Nomi out as well. And all he needs to do is get them off the payload for just a split second. There's a pulse bomb onto Baby Bay, though. And now it takes away. So, despite an insane effort from London, they won't be able to complete their attack run. San Francisco holds.
That was scarily close, though.
Sure was.
The expertise that London was using to cycle their supports and tanks onto the point. And honestly, a big part of that was Bedosian switching to the Ana because he knew that the Shock were going to have to defend the cart only. So he was just free healing onto his tanks and supports on the payload itself. Ended up being a pretty smart plan because even though he was not going to get on the payload, there wasn't going to be any pressure on him, stopping him from massively healing up his front line. So
when you're piling onto the payload too, that biotic grenade becomes extremely valuable. That said, still wasn't enough. I mean, Dante did get back there and finish him off.
Yeah, definitely Shock realizing that in the end.
It's a good idea in concept, though.
Yeah, it was really close there. That time.
Yeah, probably closer than it should have been, but San Francisco did manage to hold on, and now they're in a situation here where a successful attack could win them the map and send us to that tiebreaker. And what a series this would be if that happened.
Looks like they're going back to what we expect from the Shock, which is Tracer and Widowmaker. I was curious if they might play Sombra on attack here simply because that's not something that London has toyed with very much.
Right.
So sometimes you can get in and actually turn those health packs into your advantage, particularly starting with the tunnel there and forcing your way back out. But it's like we're back into the territory of Widowmaker duels.
Seems like we don't see a lot of Sombra from London in general, and with a 12-man roster, that's a little bit surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, you really don't. They played dive on this defense in the past. They just prefer their mobility and straight aggression. They don't run a lot of niche compositions for specific.
Oh, Hurag! Immediately, the door opens and Baby Bay down. Moth there with the res, but man, that's a start Baby Bay's gonna remember.
Baby Bay's been doing well on the Widowmaker so far. He can repeat this performance on the defense. Might have a chance here to send us into the pit
Ocean.
That's how you can start this. Nuss will be able to res him. So.
You know, the chrome head really catches the light in a bright sunny day like this. You got to be careful. Here the Zenyatta. Nuss with the res. Baby Bay under pressure. Looks like he's going to be fine though. Gesture pushed back. Now the Widow duel again. Hurag.
D-Mech.
Oh! It's like a clay pigeon out of the air. Baby Bay was ready for that one.
A bit of a risk, but with Nevix out of the suit, they can still pursue this.
Yep. Baby Bay just playing some duck hunt here. Meanwhile, the rest of his team cleaning up. Nuss a little bit low, half health. Wu Yall down. Nuss couldn't keep him alive, and Gesture kind of on his own. Gets a kill on a Nevix,
Nuss
actually.
kills Baby
I was
Bay.
gonna say, Nuss somehow, some way, pulling out the pistol and doing it, but Dante, with 6 health remaining, gets a double kill onto Gesture and Nuss. San Francisco not giving up yet.
It's just Prophet and Hurag. Badoshin and Wu Hyul going to be coming back now.
Well, Dante tried to be the one-man army. They gotta keep Nomi, yeah, that's his name, alive. Gets the health back, but they lose Dante. I think if you're San Francisco, you just keep pushing this one. That's what they're gonna do. Pulse Bomb comes in. Doesn't kill, though. Interesting. Moth must have just been around the corner. Well, Gesture, no corners needed to be worried about for that lightning gun. And London pushing San Francisco back. So they tried to kind of keep grinding it out, but yeah, at some point you do need to reset, and that point is now for San Francisco.
Well, London knew their limits, even though they had lost someone because of the DMAC, and they also were aware that Moth didn't have the Valkyrie yet. Meanwhile, Nuss did.
Yes.
Nuss took it on himself to get the chain healing down, and then flew over to Baby Bay to headshot him during Valkyrie to even it up and keep London alive here on the first point of Route 66. Now, that said, it did cost them the Valk, so Moth is going to be coming back. San Francisco with a support ultimate when it comes to those advantages.
Only for the moment, man. Nuss is really close to the sound barrier. Hello, Hurag. That's a nice kill on the Dante. Gesture finds one on Anomi as well. So London winning this defensive fight, sending Shock packing once more.
Oh, they're going to stagger them too. This is going to be ugly at the end. There's no escape for them.
Oh, they get the D-Mech on a Nevix. Now they're going to let him go. Okay.
Continuing to farm them for some ultimates. Prophet comes back with a pulse bomb. Nuss has had enough time with the Lucio now to make it up to the sound barrier, so Shock not going to be in a position to have an ult economy advantage, really. Baby Bay knows he's got to get some picks. He's tired of taking that Widow duel, but now they're going to have to play into Infrasight on their last attack.
That's right. You're Rodog, but you've got a bigger head. So Hurag have an easier shot of that. You got to watch out. Prophet. That pulse bomb, here we go. San Francisco on the attack. Only 30 seconds remaining. They've already lost Nomi. That's a rough start. Moth comes in for the res. He gets it. Pulse bomb not able to connect from Prophet. And now the Valkyrie comes in. Ooh, goodbye. Dante comes in for some Tracer v Tracer, and Sleepy, though, on his own, gets the health back, but can he stay alive? Gesture's got the supports in there with the Primal Rage, and that's exactly where he wants them.
San Francisco cleaning this one up. 3 members of Spitfire left alive. 4 for the side of the Shock, and Dante's going to be coming back.
Well, somehow Sleepy survived that one, and San Francisco looks like they might be able to clean up point A in overtime. Self-destruct, no victims there from the London side, and San Francisco gonna get point A in OT. They're still in it.
Yeah, have to use the whole hog, but push everybody off the payload, get it those last few meters. Spitfire using everything, even that self-destruct. Hurag looks like he will continue to play this Widowmaker, but now San Francisco have some space to work with, push them back over towards the spawn doors. They've got 2 minutes remaining to keep this match alive.
That's the plan. Dante doing his best Genji impression, sneaking around the back with this one. Nearly has that pulse bomb. The dive comes in at the same time from London. There's a stick. There's a kill on the gesture. Dante setting up his team to push this payload more. They got to get back on it, though.
Yeah, Prophet on the flank. He actually does get the Transcendence out of Sleepy.
All right.
So that's a pretty big win right there because they have already been on the losing part of that fight.
And you can see Wuhal just sitting on the payload, just trying to delay as long as possible. They know that they've already got San Francisco Shock down to a much smaller time bank than you would want to have here on point B, and they're really doing a good job of abusing that.
Yeah, Hurek now onto the McCree, so anticipating that this will be needed onto the rest of point B. He needs to be able to get out that door, so flashbang useful if they're trying to clog it. And also, in case you do go to point C, we'll be happy on that pickup. Baby Bay hooks Jester and drops him to the ground.
That's right. London coming in. There's the Transcendence again, just trying to buy time as much as they can. The stick from Prophet. No kills out of that one, but he manages to avoid the hook from Baby Bay at least.
Uses that recall. They're going to commit the sound barrier, so a lot used already.
Yeah, goodbye, Dante. That's a kill. Baby Bay with the whole hog. Got to get out of the way of that self-destruct. Oh, lives. The sound barrier comes in at the last minute from Nuss, but it's not going to really keep people up. Wuhal gets a kill on him anyway. Oh boy.
All right, Nomi's gonna die with the Primal Rage. They have time for a reset, just barely, and he may need the double jump from the Primal Rage just to reach the payload to keep the overtime rolling.
Yeah, if you're London, though, you're feeling so good about this one. Even if San Francisco takes point B, they're gonna have so little time for point C. It's gonna be tough to make it work.
Hurek switched to the Reaper and Baby Bay changed.
They gotta touch the payload.
They've gotta touch the payload. They will be able to do it.
And Nevix there just in time. Little U-turn to get him back onto the high ground. Now camping that payload again. Gesture comes in. Primal Rage gonna use that one. Yeah, Sleepy down already. Hurek down as well, though. Baby Bay finds one. Nevix still on the payload. They're trying to keep the payload moving, but they can't. Transcendence goes right through. Ocean's like, I must go. My people need me, and my people are the tanks on the other side of that fight. Dante down. London grinding this one out, just sitting on the payload, buying time even more. There goes Nevix, the DMAC, the self-destruct. Overtime ticks away, and that will be London winning the series 3-1.
Admirable final push from the Shock, but London hold strong before they can take point B, and that will be a victory much needed for the Spitfire to keep themselves in contention to defend their stage playoff title.
Yeah, it looked a bit iffy here and there, but hey, the team that came in, the team that struggled a bit in their last match, a lot of these guys coming up big today, performing well enough anyway to win that match and set up a very mysterious setup for London versus Seoul later. That one's gonna be fun.
That should be a great match to a Prophet. On fire against the Shock, ended the match with 25 final blows, 38 eliminations, 8 deaths. So accounting for more than a third of his team's final blows in total.
Yeah, and some positive moments for San Francisco Shock in that series, certainly making a lot of those maps look close, and a solid debut for Moth, I think, despite the loss overall.
And at least you get some stage experience heading into what we hope are brighter days in the future for the San Francisco Shock.
When we come back, guys, the desk breaks down those 4 maps. Don't go anywhere. More Overwatch League coming up right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
The Spitfire get the 3-1 victory, but they don't get the sweep they were looking for today. Solid finish as London improves once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Take a nap, wake back up. It's time to look at our Stage 2 standings. I'm your host, Puckett, and we're going to jump right into this one because London's coming off the 3-1 victory. What does that mean to our Stage 2 picture? Well, the playoffs kick off next Sunday, and right now, the Spitfire find themselves in 4th place, still chasing the Gladiators and the Seoul Dynasty.
And that map differential and the fact that they dropped a map there to the San Francisco Shock could be crucial because they are 2 games behind the, what are they called? The LA Gladiators, that's the name.
Yeah.
They're 2 maps behind the LA Gladiators, and they could lose out that playoff spot.
And Crumbs, you hit it on the walkout. The Shock have done this before. They've gone up against Juggernaut squads and stolen a map. It cost Seoul in the previous stage. We'll see if this one comes back to hurt London. But let's talk about the Shock. They brought in a new player today, and this is the strongest they have looked so far, in my eyes, at least on the defensive side of things.
Their defense was really good, actually, throughout a lot of the maps, particularly, obviously, on Hollywood, the map that they won, and they were able to full hold. And you called it, man. You called it. It was the Junkrat.
Did say that for them to come up with a win, it will have to be from Dante getting a lot of picks, and that's just what happened. He got so many picks, and the London Spitfire never ran anything that could contest the Junkrat or the Soldier. So if you leave these 2 heroes unchecked, doesn't matter how beefy your hero composition is, it's still gonna die.
Yeah, and I think you're right in your assessment there, Puckett. They do look very good on the defense. It's the offense, the attack, where they tend to struggle a little bit. But San Francisco Shock have now developed, I think, a solid base. And with their new additions, particularly Architect, who plays the Genji, will allow them to play much faster. They should be able to start improving in the future weeks as they add new players to their team.
Excited to see what the Shock has in store for us. Remember, they're still playing another match tomorrow. We'll talk about that in just a bit. For now, I want to talk about London. They got full held on our first map. They don't finish the second one. As we go into Route 66, they don't get the job done. What was going on with this London squad as we take a look at some of the highlights? It looks like they were getting the picks.
Yeah, they did get picks, and that's actually what allowed them to push through because the San Francisco defense was pretty stellar. Dante hit his first EMP, I believe, in about 45 to 50 seconds, which is pretty impressive, but it doesn't really matter because when you're playing Widowmaker, if you hit the shots, you're basically doing your job and a half, and that's what happens. It's a team composition for the San Francisco Shock where you're so patient that if you make a mistake, it just all goes downhill.
And I think another part of this was that they could not shut down Prophet. He went absolute beast mode. As Monty said at the end of that, 25-8 in terms of kills to deaths. And when you've got a player like this that is a genuine superstar alongside Gesture in your front line, how do you stop that? You've got to put so many resources into shutting him down.
When we watch London, we almost expect perfection every time they're on the stage because his team is just so good. When you saw this lineup, though, Birdring not in the lineup. We had Hureg back in the mix. Wu Yao was playing today. If they're going to run this same group of 6 tomorrow against Seoul, what does London need to fix before that matchup?
But Dosen needs to stop having so much fun. He's got to have a group up with the team, use those Transcendents a little bit better, and no more Zenyatta flanks. That's not a tracer.
Keep your Zenyatta in the mix. All right, so we talked about the support here from the Spitfire. Let's talk about the new support on the Shock. Moth, welcome to the Overwatch League. It was fun to watch you play today. Boys, how do you rank his gameplay?
I think he played pretty well. I think considering that he has never played at this kind of level and they're playing against London Spitfire, he had a pretty good game. He plays pretty conservatively, I would say, compared to Dak. Not very regularly found out of position or overextending like we've occasionally talked about Dak being. Didn't have the largest impact in the world, but I don't know whether that's really what San Francisco Shock even need. They just need somebody stable.
I mean, I like your assessment, but I personally think it's way too early to see what Moth is going to bring to the pool. This guy is so new that you could be having nerves. His hero pool could be, we haven't seen really much of what he can play on just one set of games. So I'm still holding a lot of judgment from this player and want to see him integrated into the lineup over a long period of time.
I did love watching him make Winston sleep all game long. That just seemed to happen all 4 games. His Ana was on point. Guys, it's the Shock falling to the London Spitfire. The Spitfire improving once again, and they, of course, are going to walk away with our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. Today, we go to the DPS superstar Prophet. Is there anyone better than this man?
I don't know, you would be hard-pressed to find a Tracer better. Perhaps Sabiobi, you could say, is up there. You really have to reach to the superstars to be able to overcome him. And he has such a deep hero pool as well. We didn't see too much of it this game. He really stuck to the Tracer, but we saw a little bit of the Hanzo, and of course, returned to the Tracer for Route 66, as I was saying, to have a superstar level performance.
Prophet, somebody put my face photoshopped on his hair on Facebook. That was very scary.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Please continue to meme up crumbs as the season goes on. Fantastic stuff here from the Spitfire. They're going to get the win, but that is just the first 2 matches of the day. When we come back, we got another hometown squad. The Valiant are taking on the Boston Uprising. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.